Cora, the Beauty Queen of Leenane by Martin McDonagh. Johnny and I have directed two other of his pieces, Cripple of Inishmaan and The Pillow Man, and it's a black comedy, and it's about mostly about a tension between a mother and her daughter. Incredibly hilarious and tragic and all sorts of strange things rolled into one, as Martin McDonagh is. It's a great dramatic piece for actors, and I think it's really going to be an incredible experience for the audiences.
I'm Eric Brandt. I'm directing Romeo and Juliet by some guy named Shakespeare.
Who?
William Shakespeare.
William Shakespeare.
He's a playwright. Mine is a romantic tragedy, which is a very classic Shakespearean piece. I think a lot of people have studied Romeo and Juliet in school or been forced to read it, and it was really never intended to be done that way. It was supposed to be played and experienced. So I'm really excited that we're going to get another run at Shakespeare in the Park and be able to bring a classic Shakespearean play that'll connect with new audiences and maybe be some people's first experience with William Shakespeare. What a great writer. Probably along the line we'll put my twist on it as far as how it'll be done, but we've got some ideas about that, and so it won't be your run-of-the-mill Shakespeare. I don't know that it'll be Baz Luhrmann's either, but it won't be your run-of-the-mill Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet.
I'm Dave Pera. I'm directing Rabbit Hole by David Lindsay of there. Rabbit Hole is about a suburban family in the New York area who suffers a tragedy, and it deals with the issues of how we deal with tragedies, how the family and the extended family handle something of that nature.
I'm Jason Utesh. I'm directing Play It Again, Sam by Woody Allen. Play It Again, Sam is a romantic comedy where essentially a man is given advice about women through the voice of Humphrey Bogart in his head.
I'm Bob Cooley. I'm directing an adaptation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Jeffrey Hatcher. This adaptation of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is, well, it's the classic story, and it has all the classic problems and conflicts. The nature of man, whether man is all good, all evil, if you can separate the two. The interesting premise of this one is that the author supposes that Hyde is not 100% evil and that Jekyll is not 100% good. And as they come to realize that is where the drama unfolds. The centerpiece of the setting is a red door that is moved around on the set from setting to setting. And to me, so far, I haven't explored the material fully yet, but I think the red door represents, on the one side, choice, and since we see it on the other side, consequence. This Hyde is kind of rock and roll. It's a little bit sexy, it's a little lush and garish, and it's got a modern twist in that it's kind of tech heavy with quick cuts, and it moves along very quickly. And I think the space at Chicago Street Theater will really allow me to contain the scenes and snap along from one to the next.
Beauty Queen's an obvious great fit for Chicago Street. It's cutting edge. It sort of pushes the envelope of what people are willing to do in Northwest Indiana. And Chicago Street's always been a home for taking risks like that, and doing work that really pushes people to the edge of what they're comfortable with, which is the great thing about theater. You can sit in the audience and you can go to a place that's risky and uncomfortable, and then when the lights come up, you are safe to chat about it over a drink.
We've done a production of Romeo and Juliet before, and in revisiting the material that we did with Midsummer Night's Dream, I think one of the really cool things about it was essentially two different kinds of performances. One is really big, and it has to be, as big as you can make it when it's in the outdoor venue, but then when we were able to bring it back into the venue here at Chicago Street, it became a much more intimate kind of performance, which I saw how great that worked with a comedy like Midsummer but it'll be really interesting to see how it plays with the romance and the tragedy and the intimacy of Romeo and Juliet.
I think one of the things about Chicago Street Theater, though, even when we take a show, for instance, a Romeo and Juliet, Played Against Sam, any of those kinds of shows that are seen at other theaters fairly easily, we always take a different look at them. We have a different twist. Number one, our stage is totally different than most of the stage. It's a black box theater. So we have to really look at it and be really creative about how we stage a show. I will boast that I do think that we have some of the best actors in the area who come here. So we really get to team an ensemble with some of the best. And I think that it's not just the best, though, it's that we take different looks and have a different twist and a different kind of staging. So that's why I like to direct at Chicago Street Theater. It makes us always grow and makes us always think about what we're doing.
I am Nicholas. I come to our 59th season.